What if I told you that you're not lazy? What if the real problem isn't a lack of motivation, discipline, or ambition? What if the truth is this? You're addicted to comfort. In a world designed to make everything easier, we've been seduced into thinking that easy equals better. But comfort, when unchecked, becomes a trap. A quiet, subtle trap that robs you of your potential. Food delivered to your doorstep in minutes, entertainment at your fingertips, climate-controlled homes. Why? Voice assistants that answer your questions before you even finish asking. We live in the most comfortable time in human history. You don't notice it at first, it feels good, it feels safe. But over time, it begins to suffocate your growth. Let's unpack this. Because once you understand how comfort controls you, you can take back control of your life. Look around. Everything is optimized for convenience. As children, we naturally seek ease. We want snacks, playtime, attention. That's normal. But when ease becomes the default, when we are never challenged to sit with discomfort, to wrestle with boredom, to overcome frustration, we grow into adults who crumble at the first sign of resistance. Yet, despite all this anxiety, depression, and lack of fulfillment are at record highs, because comfort is not the same thing as happiness. Comfort does not equal purpose. Comfort is a resting place, not a living space. Here's the thing, growth lives just outside of comfort. Always has, always will. Or is that comfort whispering in your ear, telling you to wait, to pause, to stay where it's warm and familiar? Let's look at how this addiction to comfort starts. It often begins early in life. Think about it. How often have you said something like, "I'll start working out next week. I just don't feel motivated right now. I'll wait until I'm in the right mindset." Now ask yourself, is that laziness? We confuse the two all the time. Laziness implies you don't care. But the truth is, most people do care. They care deeply. They want to succeed. They want to be healthy. They want meaningful relationships. But they're also deeply conditioned to avoid discomfort. It's not that you're unwilling to change. It's that the discomfort of change feels overwhelming. Because comfort has become your home. Every time you scroll for hours instead of finishing that project, that's comfort. Every time you sleep in instead of running in the cold, that's comfort. Every time you choose the familiar pain of procrastination over the unknown effort of growth, that's comfort. Comfort doesn't always look like luxury. Sometimes, comfort looks like routine. You have to train those parts of yourself through intentional discomfort. Sometimes, it looks like staying in a job you hate. Sometimes, it looks like binge watching another show because it's easier than facing your own dreams. Keep promises to yourself, especially when it's inconvenient. So how do you break free? It starts with awareness. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. Understand discomfort is not the enemy, but comfort is not the goal either. The goal is growth, and growth requires effort. Effort requires friction. Friction is uncomfortable. So the first step is accepting that discomfort is not a signal that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is working. Discomfort is the gym for your soul. When you lift weights, your muscles tear. It hurts, but through that stress, you grow stronger. The same principle applies to your mindset, your discipline, your ambition. You want more confidence. Step into situations where you feel insecure. You want more resilience. Do hard things, even when you don't feel ready. You want more. This isn't about chasing pain. It's about reclaiming your power. Your ability to do hard things is like a muscle. But if you never challenge yourself, you lose it. You've probably heard the quote, "Do something every day that scares you." That's not about being reckless. It's about choosing courage over comfort again and again until it becomes your default mode. Now here's where things get interesting. When you start embracing discomfort, you begin to change how you see yourself. You stop labeling yourself as lazy, unmotivated, inconsistent. Instead, you start building evidence that you are capable, disciplined, and resilient. And that changes everything. Let's talk about identity. Because this isn't just about behavior change, it's about identity transformation. Most people try to change their lives by changing their habits. That's great, but habits are surface level unless they're backed by identity. If you believe you're lazy, then no matter how many productivity hacks you try, you'll find a way to sabotage yourself. But if you shift your identity from "I am lazy" to "I am someone who does hard things," the game changes. You begin to act in alignment with that new identity. Not perfectly, but consistently. And consistency is the secret to momentum. This brings us to the next point. Momentum is your best friend when battling comfort. Think about a rocket ship. It takes the most fuel to break through the atmosphere. That's the hardest part. But once it's in orbit, it barely needs any fuel to keep going. Your goals are the same. The first steps will feel hard. You'll want to quit. Your mind will give you 1,000 reasons why today's not the day. But if you can push through those first few days, those first few weeks, you'll build momentum. And momentum makes effort feel lighter. Eventually, discomfort becomes familiar. And what once scared you becomes your new normal. Here's another truth. Comfort isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's even spiritual. Sometimes, we hold on to limiting beliefs because they're comfortable. We stay in toxic relationships because they're familiar. We avoid deep conversations because vulnerability feels scary. All of that is comfort in disguise. You want freedom. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That doesn't mean you need to suffer non-stop. It means you stop making comfort your god. You stop worshipping ease as the highest good. Instead, you choose values like growth, grit, and greatness. You're not meant to live an average life. You're not meant to drift. You're not meant to wake up at 40 wondering what happened to your dreams. But unless you take full ownership of your relationship with comfort, that's exactly what can happen. Not because you're bad, not because you're broken, but because the modern world rewards passivity. You have to rebel against that. You have to design your life with intentional friction. Set goals that stretch you, wake up earlier than you want to. Turn off the screen and read something that challenges your mind. Have the hard conversation. Take the leap. Not once, not twice, but as a way of life. Eventually, it becomes less about what you're doing and more about who you're becoming. Because the opposite of comfort isn't pain. The opposite of comfort is purpose. Purpose gives your discomfort meaning. It turns struggle into strategy. It transforms effort into empowerment. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been calling yourself lazy, if you've been wondering why you can't just get it together, know this: you're not lazy, you're just too comfortable. And that's a problem you can solve. Not overnight, not without resistance, but step by step, day by day. Start by doing one thing today that stretches you. One thing that makes you sweat a little, think a little harder, push a little farther. Then do it again tomorrow and the day after that. Because a life of meaning isn't built by avoiding discomfort. It's built by walking through it on purpose. You don't need to become someone else. You need to return to who you really are beneath the comfort. Capable, committed, unstoppable. The only question now is, are you ready to get uncomfortable? Because that's where your power lives.